National Great Shakeout Day brought earthquake safety to USC's campus. Find out how to protect yourself.
And the Los Angeles Fire Department is bringing Angelenos into the firefighter community. We'll take you a live look at a local fire station.
And 10 months after the LA wildfires, residents share how they're continuing to move forward with their lives. See It Live starts now. Tonight, as part of the Great Shakeout, we're taking a look at natural disasters and how communities come together to deal with them. Hi, I'm Evan Abelson.
And I'm Gianmarco Velasquez, but first, breaking news. USC has rejected the Trump administration's Compact for Academic Excellence in Higher Education, which would have provided USC funding if it changed policies on admission of international students, definition of diversity, and tuition, among many other demands. In a written statement, USC Interim President Byung-Soo Kim said, quote, "We are concerned that even though the compact would be voluntary, tying research benefits to it would over time undermine the same values of a free inquiry for academic excellence that the compact seeks to promote."
I think it's a really good thing that the university is standing on its values in this circumstance. I really wasn't sure what direction the university was going to go because of the current financial situation, and so I was honestly a little bit surprised that they stood on their values with how things have been recently.
I just definitely think it was refreshing and some good news in light of I tend to have kind of a hopeless outlook on everything right now. So it was nice.
In addition to USC, the compact has now been rejected by MIT, Brown, and the University of Pennsylvania. Other schools, a mix of public and private universities, have said that they are reviewing the offer.
Are you ready for the next earthquake? People across the state, including students, faculty, and staff here at USC, took part today in the Great Shakeout.
This is the Great Shakeout, one of the largest earthquake drills ever. Practice now so you can protect yourself during a real earthquake.
USC students demonstrated the best safety practices to follow when indoors during an earthquake.
Really, hopefully, it's always a year-round process where you're assessing things and trying to make improvements. People have a tendency not to think about something till it happens. So if it forces you to think about it in advance, and the university is pretty serious about coming out and making sure you have the gear, then it can be effective to help you prepare. Whereas if nobody asked, probably if there was an earthquake, then you're like, what do we do?
If you're inside, make sure you drop, cover, and hold on to anything that'll give you shelter from falling objects. If you're outside, stay away from power lines, trees, or any other hazards.
Earthquakes are tremendously expensive, and if we can lessen the damage and lessen the number of people hurt, we should take these simple steps once a year to put that information out there.
A damaging earthquake would disrupt life in California and LA at a scale that we haven't seen in the last 100 years. So it's really important to think about how urgent it is to prepare. And it starts with the individual, and then the community, and then the officials, the city, and so on.
The USGS says that Southern California experiences about 10,000 earthquakes each year.
When the ground starts shaking, this is where you're supposed to be. Under a desk, covering and holding on. This week on Seth and on the Streets, I found out how prepared USC students are for when the big one hits. But before I hit the streets, I spoke to a USC emergency manager about how USC is preparing.
Department operations centers, which is centrally where all these schools and departments work out of, to manage us through an emergency. We use a virtual emergency operations center software so we can all talk to each other and communicate and provide status. We assess buildings, we provide mass medical care if we need to, food, water, and other things.
And the threat of earthquakes remains real, with more than 500 active faults in California and around 10,000 quakes every year, though only about 500 are actually strong enough to feel. The most recent major earthquake struck near Eureka with a magnitude of 7.0. But even with drills and preparation, do USC students really know what to do when the big one hits?
I feel like it's inevitable to experience one living in California, and my roommate's from here, so I'm just going to rely on her.
I'm a little nervous because I don't have that much experience with earthquakes, but I think it'll be fine.
You don't know what situation you're going to be in where it happens. There's what if I'm in my car? What if I'm not? I'm just outside under a tree. There's a lot of very dangerous circumstances that I could be placed in that I may not be accustomed to actually surviving in.
I couldn't tell you the ways to prepare for an earthquake.
USC, I actually think you guys are really good at this. There's a lot of good infrastructure, a lot of like using strong brick, using good like materials. And then I actually did a little research on this. They actually are like certified for earthquake protection, I believe.
And although earthquakes may just be part of life in California, experts say now is the time to prepare. Whether it's having a plan, a kit, or just knowing what to do, being ready could make all the difference. Back to you, Evan.
10 months out from the devastating Eaton Canyon fire, residents are still in the process of rebuilding and healing. The Eaton Canyon fire is the second most destructive wildfire in California history, killing 19 people and destroying thousands of homes. The devastation is still evident here in Altadena.
My daughter and I drove up to see, you hold out hope, you're that one house on the street. And as soon as we hit our block, it was just one after the other. The houses were just gone.
Well, first of all, how gracious people are. I mean, people really did show up for us in just ways you would never imagine, people that we've lost touch with.
Altadena residents are passionate about building back stronger than ever and keeping the community spirit a fire never could destroy.
In California, Governor Gavin Newsom signed a 23-bill package aimed at boosting ongoing rebuilding efforts in Los Angeles. The new laws are also meant to strengthen future disaster response and recovery. The bipartisan legislation is one of the most significant reforms to California's disaster response system. It incorporates lessons learned to enhance the state's ability to handle disaster recovery.
I think it was not really overdue, but it was definitely necessary. I think that it offered a lot of speed and flexibility in terms of recovering, rebuilding. This isn't just the Palisades and Altadena. It could be anyone's community. I know we have very strong winds around here, especially during fire season. This is a statewide issue. This is not something that ignoring and having issues between parties is going to solve. We need to focus on the fact that it's a fire. It doesn't care whether you're Republican or Democrat, and we need to help people out who are in need, and there will be more people in need soon.
Among its benefits, the package aims to protect homeowners and tenants immediately following a disaster, provides property tax relief for wildfire survivors, includes improved insurance coverage for fire victims, and cracks down on looting. But not all the wildfire measures made it through. On Tuesday, Governor Gavin Newsom vetoed SB 326, which would have required state fire officials to regularly update strategic plans to forecast wildfire risk. Newsom said the bill would trigger, quote, substantial ongoing costs that are not accounted for in the budget.
Another budget item is bringing an historic raise for an essential group of workers, incarcerated firefighters. The pay rate for incarcerated firefighters in California went up from $1 an hour to $7.25 an hour under a new bill Governor Gavin Newsom signed on Monday.
It really compensates these people that they put their lives at danger to save the community. It is basically something like $10 million in the case of the state of California, of a state budget. And $10 million in a state budget is peanut for such a worthy cause.
Incarcerated inmate fire crews are a significant part of the state's firefighting force. Working on the front lines, the Anti-Recidivism Coalition fundraises to provide them meals, clothing, and other equipment.
The community will embrace them and be like, damn, you are our heroes and this and that. The community even welcomes them when they're doing these things for the community, but then we're not paying them the same way. And this increases the chances of them being able to work on themselves better. It motivates them more better. It makes them probably still continue to have a productive lifestyle upon release. And it lets them, earn a little bit of money. So when they're getting released, they could have some type of savings so they could start their transition out to the free world.
The raise for these firefighters goes into effect immediately.
Following the disastrous Altadena fires, a bilingual elementary school has been provided a chance to rise from the ashes. Reporter Kate Stuzen brings us the story.
Not much has changed in Altadena since January when the Eaton fire swept through. 9,000 homes, schools, and businesses were burned to the ground. But for bilingual preschool Rayuela, the flames were not the end. Singer-songwriter and mother of a preschooler attending Rayuela, Ana Victoria, turned her grief into song to raise money to rebuild the school.
I felt very frustrated and trying to find a way to help and to be impactful in a way, and I thought that music has that power.
Victoria brought together musicians Lupita Infante and Pablo Hurtado to make the song Hermosa Ciudad, Beautiful City. Its bilingual lyrics mirror the mission of the Spanish immersion preschool.
I feel for all the parents, all the kids that from one day to the other they lost everything.
Behind me is what's left of the preschool. So far, $72,000 has been raised on GoFundMe and through song sales, but there are no solid plans yet to rebuild. The children now go to a temporary Rayuela school.
It's a good time to also empower our Latin culture and schools that can provide to us young new parents a place to take our kids to learn Spanish, and for that to be okay and well learned and here, in the United States.
A fifth of Rayuela families lost homes, and some displaced children did not return to the school. The remaining students played a part in making the music video.
It was beautiful because the kids started singing the song in the classroom. They start feeling identified.
The group hopes the song will help Rayuela rise from the ashes and keep its teaching alive for years to come. Months after the Eaton fire, Rayuela is finding its voice again. The new song is helping the community and raising money to rebuild the school. For Annenberg Media, I'm Kate Stuzen.
And coming up, LA saw an unprecedented day of rain. The USC community reacts to the changing weather.
The rain affects more than just USC. LA surfers may be in danger if they ride the waves after this big storm.
And a USC organization has been providing resources to impacted local communities. When disaster strikes, hear their story.
USG election season has kicked off.
They have a huge game on Thursday, right?
Huge.
Prior to that, he couldn't hit water if he fell out of a boat.
And a warning tonight about a massive storm heading our way.
We're live here at the Galen Center.
What would y'all do if you had $2.5 million?
Music, art, and women empowerment.
And she put her stamp on Big Ten history.
Those are men swimming like fish.
Thanks for watching.
Annenberg TV News, you never miss an episode.
Don't forget to subscribe.
Thanks for watching.
So, live from the Halo is USC Annenberg's take on NPR's Tiny Desk concerts. This is like a platform for USC students and adjunct students just to perform and play their music for an audience.
Our reporter Kendall Washington is live at a fire station in North Hollywood, where firefighters tell us some key ways to protect ourselves in emergency situations. Kendall, talk to us. What do the experts say?
Hi, y'all. Right now, I'm at Fire Station 89, and don't you worry, I'm not trying to join the fire department just yet. Now, tonight, being held is CERT training, Community Emergency Response Team training. This is the 6th out of 7 of the sessions, and right now, this program is being hosted by the Northeast Hollywood Neighborhood Association. And let me tell you, tonight, they're going to be focusing on light search and rescue. Once a week for the 7-week training. Once the training is complete, trainees are certified in search and rescue skills, disaster awareness, medical response, and more. Okay, guys, right now I'm joined by Jennifer Clark, and she is a CERT member. Now, Jennifer, can you tell us what even led you to get CERT certified?
Absolutely. So for about 7 years, I knew about the CERT program. And then I was like, gosh, 7 weeks seems like a really long time. But I really wanted to be prepared for the earthquake that's eventually going to come. At least that's what I kept saying to myself. And I knew I was sadly underprepared. And I thought a program that was being taught by the firefighters would be an excellent use of that. And to know that at the end that I could be called upon in an emergency, it was just a feel-good time. And everything's free.
Wow, now earlier you were showing me a few cool items that you had in your bag there. So can you tell me a little bit about the cool things that you learned doing this program?
Yeah, so a lot of the program is just based on your own personal safety. There's a lot of things I wasn't even aware of. One of the things is in an earthquake, oftentimes the gas lines are affected and you need to be able to turn it off. First of all, I didn't know where that was. Secondly, so they teach you how to do that. And then secondly, they teach you that instead of a metal wrench, you actually need something that's not metal in case there is already gas, so it doesn't spark and then explode and defeat the whole purpose. So they actually provide a special tool to help that. And you get a whole bag for free at the end. It comes with a wonderful hat that protects your head during an emergency that you're showing off. The backpack includes emergency supplies, personal protection, mask, gloves, the whole shebang.
Okay, now Jennifer, can you tell us why should everyone get CERT certified?
Again, just for your own personal safety, but also for your family, knowing where the exits are, knowing what to do in these emergencies, and practicing along the way. Like, we learn this stuff to hide underneath our desk in school. Those little desks are not really going to protect us when we're out and about on the streets of LA. So that is ultimately the best thing that's going to be able to do to help you is learning this information to be prepared. And that's all this is preparedness.
Okay, now Jennifer, really quick, can you show us your certification that you got? Y'all, she is really certified.
Yep. So it's really cool. At the end of the 7 weeks, you do have to make sure you do all 7. If you skip one, you have to make it up in another session. But they're offered all over the city, and you can make it up at any time. You sign up through Eventbrite. So I get one that's signed for the mayor and the fire chief, and then one that's signed by the council member.
Well, thank you so much, Jennifer. Guys, do not worry. There is still other programs that you can join to get CERT certified, even though this one ends next week, all across LA County. In fact, USC hosts their own CERT training program. And if you're interested, go ahead and reach out to the Fire and Safety Emergency Department. I'm Kendall Washington. Back to you in the studio.
Thank you so much, Kendall. The first significant storm of the season brought lots of rain and flooding to Los Angeles. Showers started on Monday night and drenched LA Tuesday morning. In downtown LA, Tuesday's rain was so heavy that experts are calling it an atmospheric river. It was even heavier in other areas like Burbank, for example, where it broke an all-time October record with 2.3 inches of rain.
As the planet warms up, the atmosphere becomes thirstier, water will evaporate from the ground more, and it will be a drier climate that we will experience. So we're expecting to see in a warmer climate, in general, when it's not raining here, the climate is going to be getting warmer and drier. But when we do have storms, those storms are going to be more extreme. And so that's why we have this sort of whiplash between hot and dry and like intense heavy rainfall.
According to the National Weather Service, downtown Los Angeles recorded 1.27 inches of rain on Tuesday. That's more than double the average amount of Los Angeles receives during the entire month of October.
Important water sources for California account for 30 to 50% of the water source we use. And most of them will go to the reservoir, but if our reservoir cannot handle those amount of water in a short time, they have to release them, and that's kind of a waste.
There is no forecast of rain next week, and the impact of the atmospheric river is still yet to be seen.
After heavy rainfall, how safe are local beaches? The Los Angeles County Department of Public Health advises people to stay out of the water. According to the Los Angeles County Department of Public Health, beaches contaminated by high levels of bacteria include Redondo Beach Pier, Santa Monica Pier, Ramirez Creek at Paradise Cove, and Leo Carrillo State Beach. With the beach advisory still in effect, that leaves surfers cautious of the ocean water. For a local surfer and lifeguard, he followed LA County's 72-hour warning before returning to the waves. But he believes that advisories are important.
The water is completely disgusting. So I think the advisories are good because, not everyone's super informed about that effect. Like, it's something a lot of people, especially tourists, wouldn't think about. Like, not everywhere in the country and the world is the water so polluted after a rain. So I think the advisories are good.
The public health advisory remains in effect for all Los Angeles County beaches until Saturday, October 18th at 5 a.m.
And students are leading relief efforts throughout locally and globally in the USC chapter of Blueprint for Pangea. The nonprofit, which redistributes unused medical supplies, has mobilized students to collect and deliver masks, gloves, and other essential items to communities after natural disasters. Their Vice President of Development explains more.
LA is honestly our biggest priority. We definitely want to help out local clinics around us. And so we try to do 3 local shipments per semester. Globally, we've worked on a lot of different shipments to different countries. And so a shipment is what we call one of our initiatives. It means we're basically just sending medical supplies to a particular area. And so some of the ones that we've done in the past include the Turkey, the Philippines, Nigeria, and much more.
The USC chapter of Blueprint for Pangea shifted their focus from global donation efforts to local impact during the LA wildfires, offering relief by providing essential supplies to those in need.
When the fire hit, a lot of us weren't prepared for it, but immediately after we knew we wanted to do something to help people out, and we realized we had a lot of N95 masks, other masks, gloves, wipes, a lot of the supplies that can be used in terms of fires and other disasters, and so we immediately kind of sprang into action. What we did was we took all our inventory out of our warehouse, and then we had different cars and different drivers of our members go to different shelters across the city and hand out these supplies.
Nationally, the organization has redirected over $9 million worth of medical supplies, supporting local and global shelters, clinics, and families in need. Thank you so much for watching See It Live. From everyone here at Annenberg Media, I am Gianmarco Velasquez.
And I'm Evan Abelson. For more coverage, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications so you never miss an episode. We'll see you next time. Good night.